Hello everyone, Jeff here for Respawn Studios with an Outlast Whistleblower Achievement Guide. This has just come out this week on Xbox One, both Outlast and the DLC Whistleblower, so you would have to have the game itself, which is $20, and the DLC, which I believe is $8. There you might have seen my gamer tag, Agerzia, A-G-E-R-S-I-A. I've passed 160,000 gamer score now. So I've played a lot of games, I've done a lot of achievement stuff, but here we go. We're going to pick up Bowelwhistler, which is to finish the DLC on Insane Mode. And if you've never done Insane Mode, if you don't know what it is, it's the hardest difficulty. If you die, you are sent back to the beginning of the game. You have to do everything over again, as it's warning you right here. It says, are you ready to suffer or something is the last line. And it is hard. But there actually is a checkpoint, even though it says there aren't any checkpoints. This is the checkpoint. You don't have to do those opening minutes where you are in like the flashback where you run around in the basement as your IT capacity. If you die, you're put back here. But I'm not going to die. This is my speed run. These are all of my tips to finish the game on Insane, your first try. So if you finish the game on normal, I highly suggest doing that first. It's very awesome, very scary, very messed up. But now if you're here looking for the achievement, or even if you just want to blow through it your first time on Insane, I really hope this guide helps. I failed, I think, 6 or 7 times. I died 3 of them right here at the very beginning. So I'm going to give you all of my tips about what to do when, how to avoid the enemies. This pretty much comes off as a perfect run. You see, it only takes about 45 minutes. When if you actually explore or don't know what you do, the DLC takes over 2 hours, I would say. Alright, so my first tip is put the gamma all the way up. Why? You only can hold 2 batteries on Insane. On normal you could hold 10, and there are very few that you can actually find anyway. So when you put the gamma up, you can conserve having to use night vision, because you can see outlines more. It's just easier to see things. So that's just my first simple tip. Now, when you are running here, the wall rider will be chasing a guy. You can't run away from the wall rider because it's going to kill you, as I found out many times. You have to take a hit and then just keep going through this door. You can be hit once, but if you're still red and you're hit by anything again, you die. If you ever run directly into an enemy that isn't the wall rider, they're going to kill you. So you really have to be careful. There's one other time, well, 2 other times in the game that you have to be hit. One is when you are outside and you're running through the fog. A guy just randomly runs up and hits you. And then when you're turning the power back on for the second time, you turn around, there's an enemy. I've tried that a few different times, a few different ways. You can't avoid being hit by him, as far as I know. But again, it doesn't kill you. You just have to then keep running. Alright, that guy getting up out of the chair can hit you. I don't even know if he chases after you, but it does the music like he does. I've never even checked, but I always run anyway. Now up in the vet, again, try and conserve having to use battery at all. Don't use night vision unless you have to. So just hug the wall to your right, because it's going to curve around here. You'll know you'll hit the floor you'll hear the sound of you dropping. And then you want to move to the right, to the door, and then you should be able to see the outline of the I don't even know what to call it, like a metal crate to push. And the patient's gonna walk up and be all creepy. I'm sorry if you hear the fireworks outside. I guess someone's getting ready for July 4th. Alright, so you can just run directly in here, hit the button. You can watch the guy bash his head into the glass, or I'm going to show you over here to the right. You can zoom in and see the children's drawings, which are pretty badass. Especially because I love Halloween. There's one with a pumpkin. For this guide, I was considering even cutting it down to just the enemy encounters to show tips of how to not die to them, but I figured I might as well show the whole thing so you have it in context. And if there was anything you were confused about, or again, if this is your first time playing it, I want to show you everything. But again, this is the full DLC, so if you are already familiar with some things, you want to skip ahead to parts that you're struggling with, feel free to do that. Not gonna, of course, make you watch the whole thing. I have no way of doing that. Alright. So we just come over here through the rooms. On normal there's a battery in that area, but there isn't on insane, so I just pass it by. So here's our psychopath friend for the first half of the DLC, this pseudo doctor dude with the saw. Gonna run it. There's no need to run. I'm just trying to do this quickly. You're not like being chased in that part. But it also helps conserve the battery a little bit to move quickly. Alright, so this is our first straight up enemy encounter. That guy with the saw. You could get right up here to the doorway. I suggest being crouched. You just make less noise. I just feel better doing it. But he's going to be right there. You want to let him go. If you want to be balls to the wall, you could probably just run and potentially take one hit, but I think that's too risky. So I let him walk away the first time, and then as you walk over, he starts his way back. So then I retreat to the position I was. And now this time he goes a little further. He goes into that side room. Over to our right now. He goes in the top door. But don't immediately run right here. He stops and turns. Then he turns back. So now you could start to move. You get up and run. It's okay if he sees you. He sees me here, so it starts the music, so I have to be a little bit more on the edge. But it's fine. Then we're in this back room. We come over here to the right, climb up, and we're good. So we're not being pursued anymore. We could really take our time. But again, I'm trying to speed run, make this as quick as possible for you. So I'm always holding down left bumper to sprint. Alright, this random dude broke open the door. You can always just continuously run back to where we came from. The guy's going to be over to the right, so if we go over to the left, we're golden. So we just climb back over, use the key we picked up, open the door, head through. Alright, now we can just keep running. There's nothing in the side rooms. And there he is. He's going to put us in the incinerator. You have to be on your toes because this is on insane. You take damage much quicker. So you will die pretty quickly to the fire. You have to do this as fast as you can to turn around and keep hitting X to break out the back wall. I was worried there because the prompt after the first time didn't come up for a few seconds, so I was worried I would die, but I got through. Alright, now, there are only a couple batteries I know of. I definitely suggest getting this one, because we're still pretty early on, and you're going to need night vision for a little bit, so come into this back room. Again, I'm not even using night vision. You just want to hug the walls. One other tip, when you first come out of the incinerator, you're going to be weak, and if you run right into that steam, you will die, because it does a little bit of damage, so be careful, you might die to that. So that's why I was over to the left to avoid the steam. I think you could also duck under it, but just to be safe, I go to the left. Alright, now we're just making our way up and around, and then we're going to drop back in, run through some rooms, and it'll be our second encounter with the enemy with the saw. And it's bizarre because when you're around him, it often plays his saw sound like directionally. Like, so if he's rooms away or something, it'll be softer, and if he's close, it'll be louder. But in this case, it's loud the whole time, so it's confusing. You think he'd be like right next to you, but he's not. you have to go through a certain doorway, otherwise he's never going to come after you. So you could feel free to just run. He's going to be here through this door to the left. So the quickest and easiest way is to get him to come after you and just ring around the rosy with that one bookshelf, and you're past him. So quite easy. That's the main thing I want to point out in this guide. From the couple ways I died, I was able to come up with my strategies here of how to most efficiently get past these guys as fast as you can. So again, I'm just running even though I'm not being chased, just trying to beat it as quickly as I can. I'm not picking up any documents either. There's an achievement for that, but it's on insane. I'm not going to risk anything. So there's this guy that's banging his head against the doors, but he's no threat to you. Alright, now our next time with the saw guy is coming up. Alright, so you want to first come over here to the left when you're in this long hallway, open this door. Why? You can climb up in that vent. If you come over to the right, the second you jump over this, it triggers the saw guy to be chasing you. So I want to open this door first, just to be safe. And then as he's chasing us, we get up in the vent, and they can't pursue you up here. For my experience, I then count to 10 seconds, just to be sure that he's crossed that barrier, and he's on this side, so we could then run past him, jump over, and we're fine. So that's what I do here. Now get up and run. And you want to go in the door on the left where the blinking light is. And you're going to have to climb up onto the bed first and then into the vent. And you're going to fall through. You can hide under the bed, but he's breaking through that door, so you might as well just come through and through here. And now you're fine. He's not able to pursue you anymore. But again, as always, I'm just still running. There's the shadow, but there's no real threat, even though that scared the hell out of me the first time. I like jumped out of my chair, literally. Alright, so this is our next time, our final time, I think, with the Saw Doctor. Yeah, it is, I think. He could be anywhere. Fortunately, he was a good distance, but you see he's right there in this back hallway. So I come back into the room, and we're going to go to the other side of the hallway, which is where the flashing light is. And we're going to have to climb up over here. Again, just hit A. And we're good. So we're going to turn the gas valve, and then we have to come back through the room we just were. And again, the guy could be anywhere. He didn't see us, I don't think, so he wasn't chasing us. So he really could be anywhere. He could be on his set path. I think I start off to the right, and he's actually right there. So I have to come back here to the left. You could go to the left and then to the right, but I go to the right just around here and a little bit to the left of the door. And once we hit this like airlock for the gas, we're fine. So we're done. Alright, now we have turned the gas valve to get it out of that other airlock. Oh, there's another battery. Very important. Sorry, I forgot to point that out. Right as you come through the airlock, there's a battery. But now we've cleared the gas, we're going through the airlock, and we are going outside. So this, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is one of the times you have to get hit. There's no way to avoid it. I don't even think there's like a guy. You just like hear running and then you're hit. So it's foggy even when you're using night vision. It doesn't really help. You just want to head toward the lights. And most often they're a little bit to the left when you come through the stairs for an area. So there we are hit. We're taking damage, but there's no one else that can hit us right now, so we're fine. Now, there are two guys that are going to be running down these stairs. One of the times they actually hit me and killed me. So just to be safe, I get to the side and let them run by. You want to come over here to the left because you're going to have to trigger this guy at the door. He tries to break through, but he can't. So I assume this is the same guy, comes around from the other side and opens the other door, which otherwise was locked to us. I think it was locked to us. I don't know if I just do this out of habit. I'd feel stupid if it was already open. But anyway, you have to come over here to the right. And then there's this open door over here. Drop down, jump across. Guy comes to the fence. Oh God. But it's fine. Now we just come down here through this little sewer and we climb a ladder. Alright, this next part is crazy. This is the first time I actually died playing on normal, because it starts to have an overlap with the original game. They're the twin brothers that always talk about how they're going to kill you and how they want to kill you, and there they are. First and foremost, when you get to this first spot, right here at this doorway, you have to wait for them to come around the picnic table and stop moving. If you run into them before they're set, they're going to kill you. Believe me, I've had it happen. Now, once they're set, you can come through. Now there's this guy throwing the head in lieu of a basketball. He will also attack you. The first time I didn't know the brothers then pursue you, so I started to run backward, but the brothers are coming after you, so they're going to kill you if you go that way. So the second you come through the gate with the guy throwing the head, just run back here over to the left where I did. They're gonna push you, those two dudes that were standing by the fence, but you just keep going and you should be fine. And now we're good for a little while until we try and use the radio in the prison. And then the enemy for a little bit is going to be the really big fat guy with the chain who was pursuing you through most of the original game. So we just come through these hallways. I don't think there's any threat here. There's just people running around. And in the side room of which the left is the radio, you hit X. And the boss of your boss is there again. And he beats you up, smashes it. But before he's able to kill you, of course, just like the guy with the saw, something else is going to pull him away. And of course, I guess if you're watching this, you don't care about spoilers or you've already beaten this. But at the end of the DLC, this situation kind of also exactly happens, where he's trying to kill you, but right before he's able to, he's otherwise occupied. In this case, he's distracted. At the end, of course, the wall rider kills him. Alright, so here, I suggest just crouching. You can bring the camera up. I always like having the camera up. I think it makes it a little bit brighter. But I'm, again, not using night vision, trying to conserve. Once he's past you can just get up and run. He's fairly slow, so it's never really a threat for him to catch up to you. Come through, jump across. Once we're through here, we're okay. Because for some reason no one can fit through those other than us. Alright, and now another overlap with the original game. There's the priest, and he's drawing the down the hole thing in blood. Alright, now the big guy is about to be pursuing you again. Once you come through this door, this guy over here to the left is warning you about it. I think he's breaking through behind us. If we went to the right, we would have ran into him, but you come over to the left, past the lockers, and you just run around. Here you're going to have to use night vision. Here I turn it off to show you, and I run into a wheelchair. So it's good to see the objects on the floor, just so you're not caught up, and he potentially catches up to you and kills you. And you jump outside, and we have another little loading screen. Alright, but we're basically more than half done now, at least the enemy encounters. The last few minutes of this video are once we've already gotten through any part where you could die. Alright, so once we are outside, this is where I'm going to start to have to use night vision. Well, I guess I don't have to, but it just makes it way easier. You want to hug the initial right wall, and you're able to find this gate, come down here. Jump through the fence, duck under the pipe. You don't have to worry about the electricity if you know what we're doing. We're coming over here to the left to go down and turn it off already. But once we do that and we run back upstairs, the douchebag turns it back on. So we have to come right back downstairs. And we also just passed that little side room where the guy's like masturbating over the dead bodies. It's so great. This is like the most... It's so messed up, this DLC. It's crazy. I can't believe they were allowed to show most of what they do. It's just nuts. And I'm a big fan of horror and like crazy stuff, but this is right up there, if not the top, of insane things that they show. Especially when we get to the other main psychopath. Alright, so when we run back down and we turn this off again, this is the other time you have to be hit. There's just no way to avoid that. The guy will chase you for a little bit until you open the gate where it was originally electrified. Once you're through that, I think you're okay. But once you approach the next door after that, the music stops, so you're definitely fine by then. So you run right here to the door. You see with the camera up, we were able to see it. Otherwise, you'd probably have to use night vision. And then we're in. Alright, so we're good. No enemies for a little while now. We're going to go through a few doors. We're going to drop down through the water, climb a ladder. We're going to go in that like silo tower where we have to go up the winding staircase. We're going to jump across and then fall into like the barn warehouse where the two dudes are talking about how they're going to give you to the guy, Gluskin. Alright, so you see we have both of our reserve batteries still, which is awesome. And we're just going to run up the winding stairs. As long as you're running, when you hit jump here, you'll be fine. Even if you don't fully make it across, there is the animation where you hang on the edge and you can climb up. So unless you like spectacularly jump way too early, you're going to make it across that gap there. This is the much longer gap, but again, if you have a running start, it should be fine. You have to come over to the right once you're through the window. Again, holding left bumper to sprint if you're playing on Xbox. And you hit A to jump. You get this little kind of cutscene where we fall. I don't know how you don't die or break your legs here. I guess we fall on our arms. We'd have broken our arms. I guess because hitting the roof kind of tempered the fall and didn't make the second shock as big. I don't know. Alright, so we're going to stand up here. This is where the two guys are talking the entire time about what they're going to do to you or what the guy's done to other people. But they're no threat to you until you jump down and you physically encounter them. So we're good for a little while. We just have to make our way under, through, around, over a lot of objects. Mostly bookshelves and desks. There's the incredibly scary part where you run into that guy that seems like he's standing there waiting for you, then you find out or realize he's hanging. He was hung to death. So this is where we are going to have to use night vision, otherwise we'll just keep running into things. So I just changed the batteries. That was the hanging guy I was talking about. And then here's the other little kind of scare where the guy pushed the books and is talking to you, but he's trying to help you. Telling you not to go where you have to go. Warning you about how dangerous the guy is. So here you see I messed up, ran into a couple things, but you're not really being pursued right now, so it's of no concern. So again, moving through all these little gaps, or in, around, over. But we're basically done. There are three, well, first you have to get by these two guys. They can kill you. the first time I made it this far, they killed me. The easiest way is to come over to this guy on the left, because there's this pole right here, and you kind of do this little dance. When he goes to one side, you go to the other. Come through the door, come to the left immediately, and you will jump over here, and you're fine. If you make it through there, you just then climb up right here. So you're past them. Now there's just 3 encounters with the really crazy messed up guy. And like all of the other encounters and my strategies, it's pretty simple. You get them to run after or toward you, but you're manipulating them. You're waiting for them to come to one side of a table or another, or a bookcase or the other side, and then you go to the other. And just go past them as fast as you can, go the other way. So you're really just holding down the sprint button the whole time once you know that they have passed you. So you have to try that door to trigger the really messed up guy. There he is. I'm sure there are other closer places to do this to make this part go faster. I just feel most comfortable with doing it back here. So we are going to have to wait for a little while. He's going to be talking about making you his bride, etc., etc., as he slowly makes his way over. I've had this happen a couple different ways. Sometimes he doesn't even see me. I guess if we crouch, he might not even see us, but it would be hard to see him. And he heads around to the right, around tables, so if you hug the left wall to get through the gap, he might not even see you, and you'd be fine. But this time he does see me. So he starts to come after me, so I wait till he gets around one side of the table, and I go to the other. The main thing to learn to make this insane run through simple is the paths, where you have to run. Because once a chase is triggered, you have to get the hell out of there. If they hit you once, you're probably going to die. Sometimes they just like disorients you and then they grab you again. Sometimes they just straight up kill you. I've had that happen once or twice. So once you know where to run, that's what the biggest thing is. So you run past him through that gap, through the tables, come to the door across from where the body with the head stuffed in the cut up privates was, and we push this metal desk. These are there, of course, to make it much more tension filled. Oh god, he's catching up to me, etc., etc. You see with the gamma up, it helps a lot. We don't have to use night vision for a lot of this. We just run through around all of these desks, etc., etc. Here we're going to have to jump over. Now here, no matter what, it does show that he's caught up to you as you're pushing this one. Again, just to make you feel, oh god, I'm about to die. But once you get through this door, we just have a couple turns. And we jump across to the ladder, and there's this other mini cutscene where we're going to fall and actually break our leg. And he's going to go on this rant. Once the elevator starts moving, I guess he's trying to kill you, or like maybe you didn't break your leg, you just had that thing in it, but you are limping for most of the rest of the game. I assume that another fall like that onto metal would have broken a leg, but whatever. Anyway, he's warning you. You can't do anything once the elevator starts to move. For some reason it doesn't let you climb up the gap, even though the distance is fine. You have to wait until the elevator is like level with the opening. And then you could run through, which is the floor under where he was just looking down. Alright. So you could hear him talking a bit, but you're not really being pursued. So you could kind of take your time if you want to explore these rooms. Look for any documents or batteries, but if you're just trying to quickly beat it. You can get right in the locker, but nothing happens. You have to walk to that door to trigger him moving, and then when you get in the locker, it'll go to like this cutscene. This part is disgusting. I mean, again, I'm into horror stuff. I know I've already shown some of the messed up things. This is absolutely disgusting. So there's just this cutscene for a while, just for the sake of some people and for myself. I'm just going to cut the next couple minutes out and come back with the next part of gameplay. Alright, so now the really disgusting cutscene has passed us. We are now putting our suit back on and our camera. Alright, so now the doctor again had been distracted. So we start to move through here. Notice we have no batteries anymore and no charge. Once we start to move here, he's going to start coming toward us. Again, there are probably other places closer that you could do this, but I prefer and am most comfortable and feel the best about this spot, the table you were just strapped to. Again, you'll have to wait for a little bit, like the previous spot where the first time we encountered him, I waited for a bit, but again, I feel comfortable, most safe doing it this way. So once he goes to one side, we run to the other. You will be limping, but still holding the sprint button means you will move more quickly. So I definitely suggest doing that. And again, with the gamma up, we're fine. We don't have to use night vision. Coming up here, we come to the right, around these dresses, stay to the left, we're coming through this door. I make a wrong turn, I was worried I was going to be hit, but I'm actually okay. Now we're going to come around here, jump over, and we're going to jump out this window. So again, how did we not break our legs the millionth time? There we clutched to the leg that the thing had been stuck in, which I assumed was the broken one, but I guess not. But we're still going to be limping for a little while. But then in the final sequence, you're not limping anymore. You seem to run normal. So I don't know if it's like the adrenaline. That file that was on the ground there by the fountain is the file of the crazy doctor Gluskin and about his therapy, so it's pretty cool to read that. Talks about his traumas. You have to go in the door to the left, but if you come in the door on the right is our final battery spot that I know of. And since this is like our final little encounters, this is like the last battery we're going to need, so I definitely suggest picking it up. It's not needed, but I just feel more comfortable with doing it. And if you haven't played it as many times as I have, you might not know how to navigate through the darkness. Or you might have like a TV or monitor where turning the gamma up might not help as much. So I just suggest getting that final battery. Alright, so we're going to make our way toward his messed up wedding chapel. You're going to hear him talking, and it sounds again like he's really close by, but you don't have to worry about it. You just make your way right to the chapel. We're going to pick up the key for the exit door. I'm sorry if you hear my phone going off. Here's the key for the door. But the guy's immediately going to be behind you, so you come over here to this gap. You're safe here if you just wait. But definitely push this out of the way and open the door. Obviously by the time you've done this, he's realized what you're doing, so he's going to be coming around. So head back in, go through the gap again, and now wait a little bit. Again, we're going to play our ring around the rosy. When he comes in the door, make him come down at least a little bit more than half the aisle. If you wait for like 3/4, he might catch up to you as you're trying to get to the gap, and he might grab you and kill you because you're limping. So about halfway, I would say turn and come through. But then he's far enough into the room that once you run through the door and keep going, he can't catch up to you, as long as you keep holding the sprint button. You want to stay on the right side of the room, because the left side, I think, has more objects that you would get caught around, and eventually in the latter half of the room you have to come around them to the right anyway. So you come up here through the vent again, you come back through the kitchen. He's not pursuing you once you go through the vent, so if you need to take your time for any reason, you can. But we're bringing our key over to the exit door, but this being Outlast, you know it's not going to go swell. And the guy is going to attack us. So we have this kind of cutscene where he's complaining that like you're too fat even before the honeymoon, blah 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 blah. And the roof is going to start to like break or something, and the pulleys and ropes get messed up. So after a little while, we're going to have like our quote-unquote battle, which is the button press. If you're playing on Xbox, as I am, it is the right thumbstick. You're going to have to wiggle it back and forth, the left and right. So get ready to do that. I haven't failed doing it. I assume you just die, but you don't want to fail. You'd have to restart everything on Insane. So just be prepared to wiggle the right thumbstick. And here we go. As you're struggling, it's going to come up. It's kind of small on the screen, so make sure you're also paying attention to it. It's a little bit under the halfway mark of the screen. But once you do it successfully, the guy gets caught up in his own ropes, and he's impaled on a rebar or something it looks like. And we're good. We beat it on Insane. Congratulations. I really hope this guide helped. If you just want to stop watching here, you can. I'm going to just keep talking and let the gameplay take us to the end. But there's no other threats. You beat it. You just have to get to the end. The achievement will not pop up until you send the email. Or upload the file, I guess it is. There are also a lot more references back to the original game. The military is arriving. They're trying to get to the basement. Here we're going to see the chapel on fire, which is, of course, toward the end of the original game. The priest sets himself on fire. So we're actually now in like the same timeline as the main game. And the military is arriving. There's a cool little scene here if you look through the door. They're examining the body of the mad doctor from the original game that you kill when the elevator crushes him. And through locked doors, again, it's never any threat to you. I don't think there's any point you can run into them where they'll shoot you. But you could hear them shooting people. You could see them through doors. I don't think there's any way, again, though, that they are ever able to see you. So we just make our way through the mostly linear path at this point. There aren't many side rooms you can go in right now. And there's this very long hallway, which is going to lead us into the first ever hallway we're in the main game. When you come in through the scaffolding, this is that hallway. You can go in a lot of these side rooms. I think there's even a document in one. But I just run right through, come down to the first floor, and you are running toward the main doors. You're going to hear the boss of your boss start talking. You could listen to him, but you could just run right into him. No matter what, it triggers the exact same thing. He stabs you when he says, "Can you help me up?" And then as he's about to kill you, the wall rider kills him. I was very, very worried because I was disappointed with the ending of the original game, that after all of that, you were shot and killed. Yes, I get that it's like a horror game and it kind of goes with that. I do understand that. And on some level, I do like that, that it's so fatalistic. But I really hope, like, here it wasn't going to make you crawl toward the door and the military guy, like, shoots you, or the guy's not really dead and he stabs you, or the wall rider. No. I was like, come on. Both guys can't die. That's so terrible. But you don't. So we're still limping now. But you see, when like the military was there, we weren't limping when we were running. I don't know if it was just weird or what, or if I'm just misremembering it, but I don't think we were limping at that point, like in that long hallway when we were running. But anyway, we are now heading toward your Jeep, which is apparently parked right by the security place, because at the door it says "Enter Miles' Jeep." Oh, pfft. This is the Jeep of the guy of the first game, isn't it? Derp. I'm an idiot. Okay. But then you're going to see... Oh, God. I'm still worried we're going to die. Reminds me of Alan Wake with the darkness and the tornado, all of that. But we get away. Then we have like the kind of Australian British accent dude, I guess it's Australian, talking to you about how he's helped you, how his company is supposed to like make sure it can't be traced back to you, but with the size of the corporation you're facing, they still might be able to get to your wife or your children or you and punish you. But this still, by uploading it, should punish the company. So do you want to do it? Obviously I want to do it, so you hit X to upload the document, and that will end the game and give you the achievement. Alright, so again, I very much, if you sat through all this or even skipped to this point, I really hope it helped you with what you watched. If you are playing Whistleblower for the first time and are doing an insane run, you're going to get 350 gamer score. The achievement just to beat Whistleblower and Insane is for 150. To beat it in general is 100, and then there are two 50-point ones for story-related things. I think turning the electricity on and turning the gas valve off. But yeah. Again, thank you very much for watching. My name is Jeff. You can add me on Xbox Live. My gamer tags are Gersia, Agersia. And one final time, thank you for watching. Hope that helped, and I'll be back with more videos soon.